Good morning, Eagles. I'm Sean Bush-White.
And I'm Corey Williams.
And this is Eagle News. In this episode of Eagle News, we're kicking off our Black History Month special.
We're celebrating the achievements, struggles, and cultural impact of African Americans throughout history.
February is a time to honor the past, recognize the present, and inspire the future.
From the revolutionary sounds of jazz to the game-changing impact of black athletes on basketball, we've got a show packed with history, culture, and excellence.
First up, what's the magic behind jazz? It's the story of a people, a culture, and a sound that reshaped the world. Catalina Hernandez has a story of how it all began.
What's the magic behind jazz? It's the story of a people, a culture, and a sound that reshaped the world. In times of struggle, jazz has been a tool for expression and progress. Learn how it shaped history. The beginning of jazz music was during the 19th century and was forming its reputation in the state of Louisiana's Big Easy city, New Orleans. In New Orleans, there was a spot where slaves would go to play music, the Congo Square. At the Congo Square, slaves from all around the world would share their music from their country to others. According to Lainey Garlock, jazz was a way for enslaved individuals to express hope and a desire for freedom. After the abolition of slavery, jazz spread across the South, mixing African and European musical elements in New Orleans. Many musicians became popular, becoming well-known icons like Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, and Count Basie, shaping the genre. To truly understand someone's love for jazz, you need to know who they listen to. Let's hear from Mr. Mosley about his favorite musicians and bands.
I like Cannonball Adderley, of course Duke Ellington. My favorite trumpet player is Miles Davis. I like Yusef Lateef. He plays oboe, which is an instrument that I played. It's not a traditional jazz instrument, but he made it work, so that's why I like him.
As jazz gained popularity, it spread across the United States. As stated in the Jazz Observer's article, The Origins of Jazz, the migration of African American musicians in the south to northern cities such as Chicago and New York played an important role in the spread. These musicians brought their jazz music with them, and as it emerged, it became a symbol of rebellion and freedom. In conclusion, jazz is a powerful symbol of the strength, struggle, and culture of Black Americans. Jazz has grown a lot as a genre and even influences modern music. In the words of Milgrew Miller, jazz is one of the few things you can do in society to express yourself freely and creatively.
Thanks, Catalina. From Michael Jordan to LeBron James, African American athletes have shaped the game we love, basketball.
These legends on the court have an impact that goes far beyond the game. Gabriel Cruz has the story.
Basketball has had many legendary players in history, and with that we have many black athletes that have excelled in the sport and put their names into basketball history. Some of the most recognized stars is Michael Jordan, which won everything with Chicago Bulls during the 90s, including 6 NBA titles and multiple MVP selections. But he's also done things that has benefited society. According to CBS News, Michael Jordan donated $1 million in 2016 to the Institute of Community Police Relations and $1 million to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, as Michael has refrained trouble from the deaths of African Americans due to law enforcement. Michael Jordan has also won multiple MVP awards and also selections, as mentioned before. But there's also other basketball players that have been greats according to many different people and opinions. This includes LeBron James with 4 NBA titles, Magic Johnson with 5, Steph Curry with 4, Kobe Bryant with 5, Shaq O'Neal with 4, Bill Russell with 11, which is the most in NBA history, and Kevin Durant with 2. These players mentioned above has also done a lot for society. For example, according to rediscovering blackhistory.gov, Bill Russell was extremely active during the civil rights movements in the 60s and the Black Power movements. And Kobe Bryant also has his own charity foundation named Kobe and Vanessa Bryant Family Foundation, which is a charity group. The same. These have been the greatest players in the history of this sport. They have helped a lot in society, and the sport paved the way for future basketball stars.
Thanks, Gabriel. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a name that echoes through history as a symbol of courage, justice, and change.
His words inspired a movement, and his actions reshaped America. Jasmine Johnson dove into the life, legacy, and lasting impact of Dr. King.
Black History Month is here, and the main person that we should thank is Martin Luther King. He did everything in his power to get the black society where it is now. So let's give our thanks to him. Happy Black History Month. Martin Luther King helped bring about the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Each of these bills helped African Americans access civil rights across the country. According to History.com, Martin Luther King Jr. was a social activist and Baptist minister who played a key role in the American civil rights movement from the mid-50s until his assassination in 1968. King sought equality and human rights for the African Americans, the economically disadvantaged, and all victims of injustice throughout peaceful protests. He was the driving force behind watershed events such as the Montgomery bus boycott in the 1963 March on Washington, which helped bring about such landmarks legislation as the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. King was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964 in remembrance each year on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a U.S. federal holiday since 1986. In 1963, King and the SCLC worked with the NAACP and other civil rights groups to organize the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, which attracted 250,000 people to rally for the civil rights, economic rights of Black Americans in the national capital. There, King delivered his magical 17 minutes I Have a Dream speech.
Thanks, Jasmine. Coming up, imagine being denied the right to vote simply because of the color of your skin. For generations, Black Americans faced relentless barriers to casting their ballots.
From literacy tests to violence, the fight for voting rights is a story of courage, sacrifice, and an unyielding pursuit of justice. Morelli Aragon tells us all about it.
Tonight, we spotlight the fight for Black voting rights, a journey of resilience and sacrifice that shaped the fight for equality and democracy. Let's dive in. Imagine being denied the right to vote simply because of the color of your skin. For generations, Black Americans faced relentless barriers to casting their ballots, from literacy tests to violence. The fight for voting rights is a story of courage, sacrifice, and
voting is our greatest right, even among minorities. And even going back to the civil rights era, they fought for these rights. Even going farther back, the 15th Amendment gives them that right to vote.
Civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and John Lewis led the fight for Black voting rights in the 1960s, particularly in the South. They aimed to end discriminatory practices like poll tests and literacy tests. Key events such as the Selma to Montgomery marches helped push for the Black Voting Rights Act of 1965 and landmark achievement in the struggle for equality, which continues today, according to History.com. The struggle for Black voting rights is far from over. While progress has been made, challenges proceed, reminding us that the fight for equality and justice is ongoing. It is up to each generation to defend and expanding the rights that so many fought and sacrificed for, ensuring that the promise of democracy is truly fulfilled.
Thanks, Morelli. Strength, resilience, and groundbreaking achievements, African American women have shaped history in ways that often go unrecognized.
From civil rights leaders to scientific pioneers, from the arts to politics, their contributions have paved the way for progress. Jada Thompson has the story of these amazing women.
Good evening, reporting from Willowridge Broadcasting Live. Today we will celebrate the extraordinary contributions of the role of African American women throughout history, pioneers who have broken barriers and reshaped the world. Throughout history, the voices of African American women have often been overlooked, but their impact has been huge in shaping America. These women fought for civil rights, equality, and freedom, breaking through many challenges along the way. Heroes like Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, and Maya Angelou didn't just stand up for their rights, they inspired others to do the same. Their stories, often forgotten or ignored, are an important part of understanding in the history of our country and the ongoing fight for fairness and justice. What are some challenges that African American women faced in the workplaces or politics?
I believe the biggest thing that I'm not an African American woman, obviously. I think the biggest thing is the fear of being an angry Black woman, dealing with that stereotype, as well as other issues that women face as far as misogyny and possibly just the whole she's a woman, she can't be a leader type of deal. More representation in leadership roles, as much as we have a lot of African American women in leadership roles, it's always good to have more, so the younger generation can see that and just continue to inspire them to grow up and follow in the footsteps of great African American women.
According to articles such as the African American Woman and the 19th Amendment, African American women have been a big part of important movements in the U.S. history, fighting for freedom and equality. For example, Rosa Parks became famous when she refused to give up her seat on the segregated bus, starting the Montgomery bus boycott. Ella Baker helped organize the civil rights movements, working behind the scenes to bring communities together. Maya Angelou, known for her poems and books, used her writings to shape the struggles of African Americans, especially women, and inspire others with her message of strength. These women and many others helped lead the way for important and future generations, showing that African American women have always played a key role in the shaping the country's history.
Breaking barriers, defying expectations, and making history. African Americans have paved the way in every field, from sports and science to politics and the arts.
Our next story highlights the trailblazers who shattered ceilings, challenged the status quo, and opened doors for future generations. Sherrod Ellis has the story.
African American leaders have broken barriers in politics, making history and inspiring change. I am Sherrod Ellis, reporting from Eagle News with the story. From Hiram Rose Revels, the first African American senator, to Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman in Congress, these leaders made a significant impact. Their achievements continue to inspire people and remind us why representation matters. Hiram Rose Revels became the first African American senator in 1870 with Mississippi during the Reconstruction period. Shirley Chisholm made history in 1968 as the first black congressperson that ran for president in 1972. Revels' election showed progress after the Civil War, and Chisholm's campaign slogan, "Unbought and Unbossed," encouraged equality and justice. These leaders did not just break barriers, they created paths for others to follow. Their stories show that with courage and determination, change is possible. Reporting for Eagle News, I am Sherrod Ellis.
And that wraps up this special edition of Eagle News, honoring Black History Month.
From the impact of African Americans in sports, music, and Hollywood, to the bravery of war heroes and trailblazers who broke barriers, their contributions continue to shape our world.
But the conversation doesn't stop here. Black history is American history, and it's a story that deserves to be told every day.
Thank you for tuning in, Eagles. We'll be back with our social media special in a few weeks.
So stay informed, stay inspired, and as always, stay soaring.
We'll see you next time on Eagle News. Until then,
Eagle Pride never dies.